Okay, testing, testing.
Testing, testing.
We are in
Sikihor.
Filipinas.
We are at Miss Tropical Bar, a mobile bar in Sikihor, Pilipinas.
And you better visit because why?
Because this is the island of herbal medicine and it's so wonderful of healing energy and spirits.
And despite to contrary folklore and mythology, Sikihor, the fire island, is due to the fact that the fire comes from the what are those bugs
So
called?
it comes from
The fireflies.
The fireflies.
And that the colonizers witnessed, and this healing energy, which by the way I made an offering. I made an offering.
He made an offering in the Lungahon Falls.
And you know what? When you give an offering, you let go. And you let go of the energy. You let go of everything that it brought you because Mother Nature accepted it. And for me, it released it into it. So I was trying to find it, but you know what? Trying to find it, I was like, you know what? I'm trying to find something that was never meant for me. So, yeah. Anyways, we're doing this video because we want to talk about the ways in which white supremacy shows up, and especially when traveling. And I think the fact that we just have to begin with English and the assimilation of it, which is environmental in some way, but also because of the way to survival. And I want to acknowledge that for all those Anglo-speaking people, that it's a tool, and at the same time you have to recognize that tool because that tool is which it grants you that privilege and entitlement to view other places, and that other people have to acculturate to that, and because of that their native tongue has to be in the back burner. And I've been learning so much of the language, and like Lupi Lupi, Makitis, like Tagalog to me is just so beautiful, and I wish I want to learn more of it. And I'm just thriving so much, and like I want to cry because if I were to live here without the tethering to a job or family in Arizona and the USA, like I would live here and I would truly be here as a volunteer, and just having that connection with people as humanity, but also the disconnection because of different cultures is just so humbling to me because I'm a visitor. I am nothing like the people that know here, or knowing their resilience. I can only learn from them. What about you?
I will say that I think we've been able to move through the world and move by traveling in all these different countries. And what I've noticed is that I think the ability to move through these countries, the ability to speak English, the ability to afford being able to travel has given us a lot of privilege. And I think I've noticed that even though we try to accommodate the language of others, as travelers who speak English, the locals have to accommodate more to us than that we do to them, even though we still try to learn their language. So I do feel like we have a lot of power being able to move through this world as English speakers, which I've definitely been able to see as we have visited 5 countries in Southeast Asia. I also think, even though I am Filipino, I have seen a lot of the ways in which I am shielded by a lot of the challenges that Filipinos face day to day. I think even though I still feel a connection to my people, I can see how English has granted me a lot of power and privilege to move through the world. And especially I feel bad because a lot of the learning of my language and like Ilocano and Tagalog I don't know, and a part of that is through cultural erasure. And I need to be able to figure out how to restore that connection with my people. And it's something that is a lot of lifelong learning ahead of me.
And I think that comes with enculturation, because for me, on another side of the world, and like I just want to point out, like from the larger macro scale, the fact that my people crossed the Bering Strait. Like, I think the Austronesians were the first people before we came to the Americas, and even within the Americas, the theory is that it was first in the South America, then they came into the Central America, and then they came to North America. And so because of where I'm living in the positionality, I think that what I'm accustomed to, which I still need to learn more about, is more indigenous practices. However, those practices are stifled and obfuscated by and even the vocabulary of like the English language. And so I think that in itself just needs to be studied And I think there's already so much study that for me, my only way of having a primary resource is to visiting these places. And I think that's what travel has the portal for me to learn and understand, which is a privilege in itself. And so for that, I just ask for forgiveness. I ask for peace, and I ask for a new world in which we can coexist among each other if it were possible. But until then, it's just learning through cultural humility and cultural proficiency. Any last departing words?
I think my last departing words is that we've been able to see a lot of the complexities. We've been able to reflect on a lot of how privilege, power, and colonialism live within even me and within us, and that I think we're trying to wrestle that as we travel, especially seeing a lot of jarring things that we have to sit with. And so I'm very looking forward to continue that process going forward as we continue to see Siki horror.
And I love you because you've been able to have that connection with me and then being able to explore and unpack those implicit biases of us that many travelers, which may be tourists and still need to unlearn and unpack as they go through different places around the world, and how their privilege carries to these places in which, oh, this is dirty, this is cheap, this is new to me, or this is fetishizing, or this is exoticism, but really it's just a way of life that people have been living and being resilient through. So thank you. Adios.
Goodbye.